So I have a little bit of an announcement before I start today's video. I just want to give you guys a little heads up on what my plan is for probably the rest of the year or next year. So next week is going to be Christmas on Saturday next week. Right now, this week is not Christmas. We're currently on December 13th, I believe, on a Tuesday by the time of the recording of this video at least. And Christmas is next week on a Saturday, but I do want to let you guys know I'm probably going to take the rest of December off for Christmas so I can spend time with my family, and I'm probably going to take January off as well because I got some plans in January and I got some stuff to do. So I do actually have a game that I want to do a let's play through that's coming out in January. So I'll probably get some videos ready for that in January, but that will probably be I'll probably explain more in the next video next week. But I want to talk about today's topic about Nintendo and was this actually a rough year for them? So without further delay, let's get on with the video. So this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk to you guys about. I kind of wanted to hold off on this topic for a little while because I wanted to see how the year would play out. And honestly, we've been kind of getting a lot of mediocre games this year, whether it's on Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo Switch. Personally, I mostly stuck with my Nintendo Switch this year because there were a lot more interesting games. I haven't really played that much on like my PlayStation and so on. I mean, besides from Elden Ring, which is probably gameplay of what I'm showing right now, but that's other than that, besides Elden Ring, I think that's probably the only game I literally bought for my PlayStation this year. But you're probably wondering, well, Nightwing, can you get to the chase, please? What we saw the thumbnail. What are you trying to get at? Well, let me tell you, I'm pretty worried for Nintendo and the way that they had been handling their game releases this year. There's been a lot of controversy and a lot of concern for Nintendo and how they handled their games this year. And this is the question I wanted to ask everyone. What does this mean for the future of Nintendo? No, like was 2022 a bad year for Nintendo for video games? Was 2022 a rough year? What's the right answer to the question here? How does this work? Well, let's be honest, all game developers have a rough time, especially major companies like CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk. That game got removed from the PlayStation digital stores, but they redeemed themselves after crunching even more to get the game back onto the stores. But besides from that, Nintendo they kind of started the year off with a bit of a controversy with Pokemon Legends Arceus, and a lot of the Pokemon fans were concerned. Excuse me, sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. The Pokemon community was concerned, and the game turned out to be pretty dang well. The graphics sucked balls in that game, but the gameplay was phenomenal, and a lot of people were pretty excited and happy with the way Legends Arceus came out. And I will say this before I get too carried away. If I get any of these games wrong as I'm explaining them, I apologize. I do want to try to explain the games that were released in order. If I talk about a game that was not released in order, I apologize. So, Pokemon Legends Arceus was first on this list. That game was received pretty well from what we've been seeing online. And the next game after that, I believe, was Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, I believe. That was released in March or April. I think it was March. That game was probably Nintendo's best game this year. One of Nintendo's best games this year. At least from like I don't want to say casual standpoint, but I guess a kid-friendly standpoint if I'm going to phrase it properly, because that game honestly is probably one of the best Kirby games we've gotten in a very long time, and a lot of people praised Kirby in the Forgotten Land. So this year Nintendo was kind of off to a good start, especially with Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, which I think was released next. I could be wrong. That game was just another warrior style based game. Personally, idea of murdering and attacking hundreds and thousands of enemies in a game. I just like that because it feels like you're a literal monster just attacking enemies. And I did like how you did have three branching houses to choose from in Fire Emblem Warriors, from the, I think, the Golden Deer house, the Blue Lion's house, and the Black Eagle house. I'm not really much of a Fire Emblem fan, I'll be honest. I think Fire Emblem Warriors Yours Three Hopes was like my first genuine actual Fire Emblem game, so I apologize if I got anything wrong, but the story itself was pretty phenomenal. Gameplay was all right. I thought it was amazing because you just, like I said, kill hundreds and thousands of enemies. And I think the next game after that was Nintendo Switch Sports. I could be wrong, but this is kind of where Nintendo was like stepping, I don't want to say in the wrong direction. They were stepping backwards in terms of fan reception, in terms of PR, because since Nintendo Switch Sports launched, Nintendo before it even launched, Nintendo even showed in their direct like an update for the game Golf, and when the game launched, there was no Golf. And this is what I realized, like, why would you advertise an update for a video game if you're going to launch it without the update? Like, why wasn't Golf not in the game at launch? And I trust me, I do want to rant on this game more, but for the sake of saving people time, I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. Golf should have been in the game at launch, and then they had to delay it, which everyone made fun of them for it, and including myself, I'm still making fun of Nintendo, but Nintendo Switch Sports is in a slightly better position than it originally was. But I'm still gonna call out Nintendo for releasing the game unfinished. But is Nintendo Switch Sports a good game? Yeah, it is for what it's worth, but honestly, they should have launched the game finished instead of unfinished. They should have delayed the game. But I digress. Nintendo Switch Sports was mediocre, but it personally I thought it was a fine game. I think they should have just held off on releasing it, but whatever. And then I believe after that we got Mario Strikers Battle League, and this one pissed off a lot of people. And I'm gonna call Nintendo out still for releasing this game. For God's sakes, Mario Strikers Battle League, even though the core gameplay is phenomenal, the game did not launch with Daisy. The game did not launch with Daisy, and people were furious about this, including myself. I was like, why is Daisy not in the game? Even though she's been in like every single Mario spin off game. Mario Party, Mario Baseball, Mario Soccer, you whatever. You guys name it. I think we all get it. But and another thing that people were upset about was the lack of content. Why is there no actual training mode? How come this game doesn't have like a practice mode for like shooting? Or why is there no damage, like there's no environmental hazards in the game like the other Mario Strikers games had? How come this game has a smaller amount of characters than before? Why does this game still feel so bare bones? I know why. It's because Nintendo thought it would be too much work. So they decided to I don't want to say chime down, but they decided to cut out like half of the things that the other Mario Strikers games had. Now, I will say this. Don't get me wrong. Mario Strikers is Battle League. The core gameplay, like I said, it's still phenomenal. I think it's fantastic, but I'm still not gonna forget the way that they launched it, especially when they launched the game without Daisy. But there have been some updates that made the game better by adding characters in a new stadium, but that's all it's been. It's been a repeat of two new characters, one new stadium, one new set of gear, copy and paste the update. Two new characters, one new stadium, one new set of gear, copy and paste the update. Two new characters, one new stadium, one new set of gear, and it's going to probably be the exact same thing in their next update. And I believe the next update for Mario Strikers Battle League is coming out either later tonight or tomorrow. I could be wrong about that, but there is an update for that game coming pretty soon, and I will try to check it out. But Mario Strikers Battle League definitely rubbed people the wrong way, including myself. Now, I will say the game has gotten slightly better over time, but it's still unacceptable and unexcusable the way they launched it. But personally, Mario Strikers Battle League, I thought it was a miss, but with the updates that they've been releasing, it's gotten slightly better. So there is that. And the next game that I want to talk about, I believe, is Bayonetta 3, which came out in late October. Despite the massive controversy surrounding the voice actor, I personally thought Bayonetta 3 was a great game. I'm still playing through that and taking my time. Bayonetta 3 is actually a fantastic game. I love the combat, I like the story and everything. Everything's just well done. And Bayonetta 3, I feel like it deserves much more praises than it originally gets. And yes, we also have Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I haven't played that one just yet. I'm still gonna try to get my hands on a physical copy if I can. I just haven't been able to find one. So, Mario's Rabbids Sparks of Hope, definitely a good game. I do recommend you guys check it out. I've seen a lot of gameplay of it on the internet. It looks a lot of fun. So, it's definitely I think it got like a award at the Game Award show for like Game of the Year or something like that. I could be wrong, but I will say it is a game that's worth checking out. And then we got the last game on this list, which is about not Mario. I'm sorry. It's about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. To save everybody some time here for me rambling like I have been, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Scarlet and Violet is an unfinished disaster. It should have been delayed. It is a buggy technical mess that should have been delayed. This game is one of the worst Pokemon games out there. The Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remakes are far better. No, every Pokemon game before this is far better than Scarlet and Violet. That's all I'm going to say about that game. Scarlet and Violet should have been delayed. I don't care what the fanboys say. For God's sakes, even the cringy ass game Fortnite is better than Scarlet and Violet. And I know I'm still not into Fortnite, but I will say that game is far better than Scarlet and Violet. But other than that, that's kind of pretty much all we got this year for games. I know we also have Final Fantasy VII Reunion Crisis Core, which I haven't even seen just yet, but I am gonna do a little bit more research on that. I heard it was really good, but I don't know. I'll just have to wait and see. But other than that, Nintendo has kind of been up and down for this year. They started off the year strong, but they kind of just, since I believe the summer, I believe, since June, I feel like they just stooped down. Like things were just not going that well for them. So, was 2022 a bad year for Nintendo? I'm going to have to say yes. I mean, they started off the year pretty strong, but then they kind of just dipped down. I mean, yeah, they try to make up for it with Bayonetta 3, but Scarlet and Violet, the last major Nintendo game this year, that kind of just dug them back down into a rut. Like Nintendo is kind of in a bad spot right now. But knowing them, I'm pretty sure they'll do much better next year. This year was kind of rough for Nintendo in my opinion. I do have confidence that they'll do much better next year. So I will say I do hope they get better, but if they don't, then I think it's safe to say that Nintendo is kind of in a lot of trouble. But It's one of those things we're just gonna have to wait and see on. So, with that being said, thank you guys all for listening. Let me know what you all think down below. Do you think this was a rough year for Nintendo, or was this a good year for Nintendo? Let me know in the comments down below, or let me know by liking the video, or don't. That's totally up to you. But until next time, you guys, I'm talking about Nintendo's track record for 2022 for game releases, and I'll see you all later.